Until very recently, India was hardly ever mentioned in reviews and presentations on world politics or discussion forum on international affairs. During the last 3 years, especially since the start of Russia and Ukraine conflict, Western media are referring to India far more frequently than ever before. It is hard to think of any major scientific, economic, or political achievements that can be ascribed to India's credit, which could explain why suddenly India has become a talking point. Equally puzzling is what motivates mainstream media of USA and collective West in this regard. Before going any further, let's make a bold prediction. India is most likely to slide more and more in the limelight because of calculated push from the Western groups who are actively involved in Russia-Ukraine conflict. Let's examine this weird-sounding possibility. A given nation may suddenly become the point of discussion because of political issues, as is the case of Ukraine or Israel, might be economic reasons, as is the case of Uganda, where $12 trillion worth of gold have just been found, or scientific reasons like manufacturing COVID vaccine in Russia. But India's recent prominence in the world scene has nothing whatsoever to do with any of those. This prominence is due to her 1.4 billion human resources, of which more than 75 to 80% live below poverty line. But India had always been in possession of large human resource. So what is making the difference now? Answer: it is not something that India has achieved, but unique changes in current geopolitics is dragging India into the limelight. Fact is, this enormous human resource, in combination with right kind of leadership, might become a formidable force with potential to put a challenge either to USA and collective West, or, depending on the nature of leadership, challenge to emerging Eurasia. Human resources of India are already in place as a matter of course. However, political leadership of India, where every other member has criminal records and every third is semi-illiterate, is neither intellectually nor morally capable of shaping this tremendous resource to the advantage of the nation. For all practical purposes, this leadership of the ruling class, as per record, remains subservient to the interest of collective West. Historically, this ruling class is the direct descendant of those who dutifully served British rule over its people and brokered repatriation of Indian wealth by the British, which is estimated to be $70 to $80 trillion worth. Indian police, Indian bureaucracy, and Indian army, with support of Indian ruling class, that made British rule over India for 2 centuries possible, until Indian ruling class took over to protect British interest through transfer of power on 15th of August 1947. The day is trumpeted as Independence Day. Such relationship is largely in place to this day. Former Prime Minister of Pakistan, soon after gaining office in 2018, issued futile appeal to the UN and other international agencies to help him curb laundering of estimated $1 trillion annually to Western banks. This one-way traffic of national resources is from Pakistan to the banks of USA and collective West. Amount being laundered from India to Western banks is never revealed, but it exists, and it's a source of great value to the West. On the other, enormous volume of human resource of India, which is wasted, remains unused and is considered impediment for national development, is a potential resource if employed to correct use. Currently, there is no indication of any Indian leadership that is either capable or has intention to shape and condition India's human resources for the service of the nation. What do we mean by condition India's human resources? Example of conditioning is how film industry through audiovisual technology twists the viewer's imagination and mesmerizes them with the image of a given film actor or actress and make them look, in the eyes of viewers, far smarter and prettier than they actually are. Over the last 2 centuries, USA and collective West have, in a calculated manner, developed and employed marketing strategies to condition population of the underdeveloped countries of Global South. Such strategies included print and electronic media, army of NGOs, influence of Western churches, schooling in the language of colonial masters, etc. They are well organized, well planned, well funded marketing successfully conditioned population of Global South into deep-rooted mental slavery, which has delinked population of Global South from their source and made them subservient to the superiority of Anglo-American West. What has this got to do with sudden rise in the reference of India in the international forum? Annual shift of monetary resources from South Asia with special reference to India in combination with our massive, inexhaustible, high-quality human resource is a prized possession for whoever can make good use of it. Therefore, India at all cost must be kept as an appendage of the West. China is next door to India, and West considers China a threat to their current dominant status in the world. Therefore, China is being demonized by the West. Why? Because of their unique leadership, who has shaped their superior quality inexhaustible human resources through indigenous schooling and emerged as a new player in the international arena, who seem to be enormously powerful yet harmless, and has attracted imagination of the world. So West feels threatened of the competition originating from China. It's a plain and simple fact that people must eat, drink, have shelter, put on clothes before they can pursue religion and ideology. Amplifying it further, vernacular-based indigenous schooling that conditions or convinces people to accept one can't pretend to be anything else but what they actually are, has in fact been one of the most important underlying factors for development and national prosperity of all developed countries, including Russia and China. Time to time, BJP government shows signs of meaning half-hearted effort of adopting similar nation-building measures. BJP's bold steps in making Indian languages acceptable to the world, unlike all other leaders of Indian government during the past 75 years. Initiatives of BJP to start vernacular-based technological courses, their crackdown on Western NGOs, Are some of the actions conducive towards empowering neglected human resource, but could make the West uneasy, especially when BJP government's position in Russia-Ukraine conflict, etc., might be steps towards the right direction for nation building, but causes of concern for USA and the collective West. What has all these narratives to do with the caption of this presentation? Fact is, if India wholeheartedly turns against and poses competition against the West, even in this pathetic socio-political condition of her, position of US and collective West will be weakened vis-a-vis China and Russia. Without India, there could never have been any British Empire. Without India, there could never have been any victory of British in their First World War or the Second. Why am I saying this? Fact is, in the First World War, strength of British troop was about 2.3 million. Of that, 1.3 million recruited from South Asia. In Second World War, strength of British Army was about 6 million. Of that, 2.6 million was recruited from India. Over and above, supply of armaments made in India and foodstuffs for the army. Now think of annual laundering of 1 trillion from Pakistan alone. Drainage from India is most definitely far more than that. One explanation is, West is convinced that Anglophonic ruling class of India is thoroughly domesticated and are committed to protect the interest of US and Western allies, no matter how much of lip service they might be paying to ostensibly support progressive movements and forces outside India. Second explanation, there is no left movement worth mentioning that may influence government policies and force them to reform all level of schooling as a tool for shaping and conditioning India's potentially powerful human resources. Such reform may potentially create a disciplined workforce, a mass of highly competitive technocrats, and resulting powerful military force. Such transformation will inevitably lead to fierce competition with the West that they can't possibly endure when they are already hard-pressed by Russia and China. For now, such a prospect is far-fetched and not worthy of any serious consideration. Third explanation, in the absence of a left-wing movement, mobilization of non-Anglophonic masses is not a factor. Over and above, Anglophonic masses are thoroughly conditioned by the well-planned and well-organized vast network of foreign NGOs, church-owned mainstream electronic and print media, and church-controlled education system. These vast networks of foreign agencies can organize and trigger serious political dislocation where agitations in Hong Kong, Georgia, Iran, and Venezuela may look like Sunday school picnic. These foreign agents have their tentacles spread throughout every sphere of government administration, be it center or state. No information is available on their hold within the armed forces of India. They have all the resources needed to dismantle or dismember India as a geographical unit. Within relatively short notice, these foreign agents can bring the nation to a halt. Based on above explanations, West will continue to pretend friendship with India and try their best to trigger a conflict with China. Identify an Indian version of Zelensky, which there are many, and fight China till the last Indian. Signs of such a diabolical plot is already in the air. Example, first time Since 1949, USA has openly recognized the disputed McMahon Line as the Northeast Sino-Indian border. Church-owned Indian media has already started to trumpet US version of the support to antagonize public opinion against China and in favor of US and the West. Until India faces the fate of Ukraine, West will continue to flirt India and Indians with lavish praises of India's growth rates, more appointments of Indians in high position in multinationals and countries that are well known for their rabid racism, to say nothing of their lavish praise for the largest democracy. Yet, miracle may happen. A genuinely pro-people government may indeed come to power in India. If such a miracle happens, USA and the West would place debilitating sanctions and even threaten India with military intervention. Else, India will continue to be lauded as a natural ally and largest democracy. Quo vadis, India? This means, where are you heading, India? Time will tell.
If you like what you see and hear, please subscribe and ring the bell.